Yay!
Hey, great.
Hi,
Let me just,
Sachiko-san. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Let me just turn the volume. Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good.
How's the snow
Hi.
over there?
Yes,
Hi. Is it snowing?
it's very, very snowy day. It's beautiful though. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. How
snowing
is
a
over
lot in
there?
Manhattan. Sorry?
Where are you and how is over there where
I'm
you
in
are?
Upper East Side right now. It's very snowy here as well. It just started like an hour ago. It's just so pretty though.
Oh,
So,
really? That's cool. I always love the snowy
yeah.
day in New York City. I miss it.
All right, well, let's get started.
Okay.
Um, So, for those that are joining us, this is Madison and Green, Conversation Series, Episode 5. Today's guest is Sachiko Asano, and she is a clinical herbalist based in New York. Thank you so much for doing
Thank you
this.
for
I'm
having.
so excited to have a conversation with you.
Great.
We actually met, I guess, like over a year ago now. We met through my cousin that lives in Japan
Right.
online. Like it was such a small world
Yes, I
story.
remember.
But I've taken your class and you're just so knowledgeable and you're so fun to talk to. So
Thank you.
so happy you're doing this. So can you tell us a little bit about your background, how you became an herbalist or why you chose that path?
All right.
Um,
Sure. That's always nice. So when I entered 30s, my 30s, I witnessed my body change dramatically. Like, especially for us women, like we have big shift in the life, right? Like
mhm,
puberty time to childbearing time and also menopausal time. And for my case, when I hit 30s, I just, to be honest, it's just my menstruation changed so dramatically.
mhm,
And
mhm,
I was like, what's going on? It's
mhm,
just happened all of a sudden. And then
mm,
I was still young. I was 31, 32,
mhm,
something like that. And it just got me scared and think that am I okay as a woman? My
mhm,
body is functioning as a woman.
mhm,
And also I could be the person, I could be the woman that who may have a difficult time having a child in the future. What
mhm,
should I do?
mhm,
Then I wanted to do something about it. So then I just didn't know what to do. So I started with the conventional hormonal treatment, which is regular thing using pill and stuff. But just give it a try, see what happens. But I always feel that it's not really my path because I always have some hesitant feeling taking medication if I don't have to.
mhm,
But
mhm.
you never know. I never encountered
Right.
this situation in my body. So let it try and see what happened. And I spent 6 months or so with it. And I still didn't see any change and I wasn't happy. So,
Mhm,
all right, I spent enough time with it and then this is not for my body. It could
mhm,
work for other people, for just not for me.
mhm,
So what can I do more naturally to my health,
mhm,
woman's health? So
mhm,
that's where I started my journey of the plants. And I started with aromatherapy. And back then I used Clary sage a lot for
mm,
my condition. And
mhm,
from there, I did an Ayurvedic approach. I
mhm,
did a traditional Chinese medicine approach. I call it TCM just to make sure,
mhm,
including acupuncture. And
mhm,
after that, I tried a Kampo medicine. It's a
mhm,
Kampo medicine is originally developed in Japan, but it has a lot of TCM base ground,
right.
right? So for each of them, I spent definitely more than 6 months or so and then jump
Mhm,
on to another thing to just experiment.
mhm,
And my original concern around the menstruation wasn't changed much, but I did see is big improvement on my I mean my physical level, like energy level,
mhm,
and also my skin.
mm,
I get the feedback from people saying, oh, yeah, your skin got much better. Your skin got
Mm,
much brighter. And after I start studying holistic medicine, I learned about the skin is an indicator
mm-hmm,
of what's going on internally.
mm-hmm,
So if you have any skin conditions such as rash, eczema,
mm-hmm,
acne,
mm-hmm,
you may want to pay attention to your body internally.
mm-hmm,
So that means my skin improved, meaning that those approach were doing definitely something to my
mm-hmm,
body, shifting my physical condition.
mm-hmm,
And considering on that, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it.
mm-hmm,
All those alternative medicine approach. But downside of it, it's just costs a lot,
mm-hmm,
especially in New York City. You go to holistic
mm,
practitioners, it's not covered in insurance.
right.
So I get to the point like, okay, I should just study myself and
Yeah.
treat myself. Yeah. And I can do that to other people too if I can, right? And that's where I started. And from there, I studied by myself, but I decided to go to school to learn
Mm-hmm,
herbalism. And I learned herbalism comprehensively. So sometimes I use TCM theory, sometimes I use Ayurvedic dosha theory. And another thing I find it very interesting is that plants have
mm-hmm,
own
mm-hmm,
energy.
mm-hmm,
So energetics of plants are very important
mm-hmm.
when you work in herbal practice. And so when I talk about herbalism, it'll be a mixture of energetics. It could be mixture of traditional herbalism and modern herbalism. Yeah. And another thing maybe I want to mention is like I would definitely love everybody to get familiar with using herbs
Mm-hmm.
because just it's one way to connect to our mother earth, right?
For sure.
And that can restore in our natural cell healing
Mm-hmm,
ability, right? And herb can work holistically, meaning that it can work on our physical level and
mm-hmm,
it can also work on emotional energetic level at the same
right.
time. And our body is so unique and nobody can have same exact body constitution
Mm-hmm,
as you have or I have, right? And the holistic approach is great because that can give you the fully customized regimens just
mm-hmm,
for your unique constitution.
mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
and the goal for holistic approach is to find out the root cause of the discomfort or imbalance that we
Mm-hmm.
going through and just help releasing it, right?
Right, for sure.
And myself, herbalist, and also other holistic practitioner probably believe that our well-beings, our wellness, our health can be achieved when body, mind, and spirit all are in harmony.
Mm-hmm,
And I strongly feel that plants medicine
mm-hmm.
can help us in that direction.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
can you, before we get into specific herbs and such, for the audience, can you kind of clarify, like, you mentioned that you practice Ayurveda, you mentioned TCM, but like, do you specialize in one? How do people choose which, kind of the herbal tradition to follow?
Mm,
Like when I say, okay, let's say I have this skin problem. Do I look into Ayurveda? Do I look into TCM? Is there this kind of Western general herbalism that I should look into? Like I think the
ah,
world is so vast that like you don't
yes,
even know where to start. Like, because
yes.
every tradition has different concepts and idea. And and I guess which area do you specialize in?
So again, I use everything. And then
Okay.
modern herbalists, unless they learn specific one, like modern herbalists probably around New York area, they may be open to, they are knowledgeable for many different herbalism, like traditional
Hmm.
herbalism. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. For my own case, I have Japanese background, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm familiar with Kampo medicine or
Mm-hmm.
Chinese medicine. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I kind of leaning toward that way.
Right.
But at the same time, somebody introduced me. I went to India. When I went to India, I experienced Ayurveda treatment, and that was kind of memorable thing for me. So I found Ayurvedic practitioner in a city. So I started with Ayurveda, but to me, it was like anything
Mm-hmm.
that's can be interesting to me. I jump on it.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone who are not familiar with herbalism, but they are interested, then I hope my conversation with you today can kind of lead everybody to understand each of them.
Yeah.
And to me, bottom line for all the traditional medical system is they use different term,
Mm-hmm.
they use different theory, but base is the same.
Okay.
That's base is
So
in the same place.
are the are a lot of herbs overlap as well? Like, use so it can overlap and then it can be different kind of situation.
Yes, and also their goal as a whole is that our mind and body and spirit all need to be harmonized, right?
Right.
And sometimes Ayurveda has unique way to use plants.
Mm-hmm.
Traditional Chinese medicine use a lot of roots and
Mm-hmm.
bark,
Mm.
you know, that kind of difference are there. And what could be more accessible to you could be another practical reason. Like if you know anyone that does their TCM professionally around you in
Mm-hmm.
your neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
you can try that. And then you have somebody who knows about Ayurveda, you may want to try that if you are open enough. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's an interesting question. Yeah, it's interesting. But I hope my explanation today can help make a decision which one to go for.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I can't wait to hear more about it. So, you used to study aromatherapy as well, right? And
long
as
time
a
ago.
long
Yes.
time ago, okay.
Mhm.
So for me, as a clinical aromatherapist, I know that essential oils can have a lot of effect on your skin if you use it in a certain way, and you can even use it internally for some things. But I see it as a tool for your mental health a lot, for mental wellness. That's truly
Okay.
my only focus.
Mm-hmm.
In traditional herbalism or just herbalism in general, you of course use it internally most of the times, right?
Yes. Yes.
And are there any herbs that you would recommend that would help with anxiety or stress or any mental
Mm-hmm.
wellness in general
Okay.
that people can easily use? And if you can
Yes.
also tell us how to use it,
Mm-hmm. Okay,
that'd
of
be great.
course. So I'm gonna start with very basic thing for those people completely new to plant medicine. So there are a few preparation. One, infusion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Infusion is something you make tea, like you uh, boil the hot water and steep it
Mm-hmm.
into the leaves. That's infusion. That's
Mm-hmm.
one way, right? Second, decoction.
Mm-hmm.
It's you basically cook it
Okay.
in a heat, like boil it, and then simmer it for at least 20 minutes. Sometimes, you know, very hard stuff like dried mushroom and all, you may
Mm.
want to steep it longer, like cook it longer. That's decoction.
Okay.
And the third one is tincture. Tincture is usually alcohol
Mm-hmm.
extract, plant
Mm-hmm.
extract. But those people who are sensitive to the alcohol, right, they can use glycerin.
Okay.
Kids can use glycerin,
Mm-hmm.
and all are great. Personally, I like decoction
Okay.
or infusion because people in New York, we modern people in general, we are so busy on the
Mm-hmm.
go all the time. We don't
Right.
have moment to ourselves. And then
Yeah.
now that all the gadget like phone came in, we all are devote us into something like not for yourself, but something else external.
Mm-hmm.
So that can give you the time for you to
Mm.
face to yourself and treat yourself,
Mm.
right? So I personally like it, but again, like New Yorker, everybody having a busy life, so tincture would be very useful because it's a like a very strong concentration
Mm-hmm.
of plant magic, right, in a bottle. So
Mm-hmm.
you can carry it on the go in a pouch, and you just squirt like a few times in a day. So it's easy like that.
Mm-hmm.
It it can
Mm-hmm.
cost more than infusion decoction, but it's very handy. And
Mm-hmm.
then infusion can be cold infusion, hot infusion. But I usually recommend everybody, if you want to experience the medicinal property, then you want to use higher dose of herbs
Mm-hmm.
and steep it longer.
Mm.
Let's say for example, usually if you buy the tea bag, right,
Mm-hmm.
from the store, that's approximately for 1 cup,
Okay.
correct?
Yeah.
So it could be about 1 teaspoon, a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But for the medicinal property, you want more.
I remember when I
Keeping,
took your class
oh
that
really?
you recommend 2 tea bags if you really want it to work. Like every time I use yogi tea, like I think
Uh-huh.
of you and I use
Oh,
two tea
cool,
bags sometimes because I'm like
cool.
I really want it to work. Like
Yeah, some people are low dose. We call it low dose persons. They're very sensitive and reactive
okay,
to
yeah.
whatever herb.
So that's
So you may
different.
want to try, you know, it could be too much if you take too much herbs, right? So you want to try it out. But yeah, in general, 1 heaping tablespoon of herb into 1 cup.
Okay.
And I like infuse overnight.
Oh
And the
wow.
next morning,
So
yeah, yep, that's how we do it. If you want to really experience the medicinal part of the plants,
wow.
you want
So
to
you
try
really have
that.
to prepare ahead of time. Like
Yeah,
I want to relax tomorrow, so I need
yeah,
to start
yeah.
tonight.
Or the adaptogen, that's what I'm going to explain today. But adaptogen is kind of herb that I usually explain. Adaptogen is herbs that enhance our body ability to cope with physical and emotional stress,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Adaptogen is usually very safe herbs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a word, it's a term coined in modern herbalism, but it's basically a
Okay.
tonic that build your body. So
Right.
you want to take it long term.
Oh, I
Like you
see.
don't want to just, when you work with plants, you want to spend time with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like some herb definitely have like very quick like effect to it, but you want to continue on. You want to experience it every day. You want to use it long term.
And
So
how
yeah,
long do people see it? Like in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, do people start seeing changes, or is it even longer? What do
it
you
could be
think?
longer too,
Okay.
especially if people work with hormonal
Mm.
concern and stuff. It may take longer because our body is accumulation of what our life was about for years back, right?
Right.
We tend to look for magic, like, okay, this drug gonna do something quick for me. That's gonna be working. 30 minutes later, that's great, right? Sometimes you need it if you are in pain and stuff.
Right.
But it's a very modern, conventional approach to it, and
Right.
holistic approach is more like we building up, like work deep, and it could take longer.
Right.
So yeah, it's two different approach. So I want you guys to know that herbal approach, you want to have time with herbs every day. Like let's say, for example, preparation, you steep it and let it sit and then
Mm-hmm.
wait till tomorrow and then
Mm-hmm.
take it. It's just a routine. You create a routine
Right.
for
And there's a
yourself to,
beauty to that, I think.
I think so.
Like it's important to care for yourself, but often people get stuck on, using
Mm-hmm.
gadgets to do quick fixes and,
Mm-hmm.
even meditation, people think there's a term called meditation machine where people think, it's like going to the gym and then you use the
Uh-huh.
machine and you think there's
Uh-huh.
like an effect right away.
Uh-huh.
And that's not how it works. And I see it in the herbalism too. And there's this beauty of having patience with it and kind of
Yeah.
growing with it and learning
Yeah.
it and seeing slow changes in the body. So I
Yeah.
think even as a hobby, it's such a beautiful thing to pick up for yourself, kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
not
Yeah.
have any pressure that, I need to fix it, but also kind of just, kind of befriend it, like as a
Mm-hmm.
family almost, and
Mm-hmm.
grow with it. So yeah,
Totally.
I love that
Yeah, you
aspect of it.
probably understand very well because you do the meditation, you do the aromatherapy. So it's all in the same category to me, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, that holistic approach, not only for our physical body, but also our emotional state. It
Mm-hmm.
all create us, right? Yeah, so we need longer time.
Yeah, definitely. We need to make time and do this.
Yeah.
So I think audience would love to find out any specific herbs that
Okay.
just right away. That's, hopefully easy to get.
Yeah, that's the important part. Yes, for a lot of people, people can just give up if I give them a two exotic herbs, right?
Yeah.
Like where to get it? Yeah, so yeah, adaptogen. Let's start with adaptogen because I
Okay.
think it's very beneficial for a lot of people, especially
Okay.
for this time, right? So again, it's a building herb. It's a tonic, and it's enhancing your immunity too. That's what
Mm-hmm.
we need, right?
Mm-hmm.
So um start
Especially
with
important right now.
this, right?
Yeah.
So many adaptogens out there, but we don't have much time today, so I'm gonna just pick three
Okay.
adaptogens today
Okay.
from TCM first.
Okay. I got my
I
notebook
want to
ready too.
I want to talk about astragalus. It's Huang Qi in Chinese, Huang Qi. And astragalus, you go to Chinatown and pretty much every Chinese medicine store should have it.
How
It's
do you spell that? A S
astragalus,
C G A.
Astragalus,
Oh, wait,
astragalus.
astragalus. Okay.
Yeah, it's a root. It's a
Okay.
white root. Long, usually come with long form, and astragalus being used in TCM like since ancient time, and it's a very sweet tasting herb. So it's
Oh,
not
easy to
difficult for a lot
use.
of people to be
Yeah.
familiar,
Yeah.
and it can be used in decoction as I mentioned, like you cook it longer, but also it's very sweet tasting, tasty herbs. So you can use it in your broth, like when you make soup, you make
Oh,
broth,
wow.
and then
That's
bone
an
broth
interesting
is
idea.
one famous. It's kind of trendy thing since 5 years ago or
Uh-huh.
more, right? Bone broth is very nourishing soup broth, and you can just drop astragalus in it and cook it.
Interesting.
So
As a
now it's a
meal, you
very
can have it because people often think it's going to be
oh
this separate tea ceremony, but actually,
oh,
you can just
I know.
incorporate it in cooking.
So yeah, the herb can be very, very practical in the everyday life too.
Yeah.
You can make it as a food, and then now this is like very tasty medicinal soup, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you can eat it as a food, and it's known as a immune stimulating herb.
Mm-hmm.
By it's been said that it can promote the white blood cell production. And a
Okay.
white blood cell is basically immunity, your immunity
Right.
is all in there, right? So it's all around very useful building herbs, but it has deep affinity to your lung,
Mm.
meaning the respiratory condition that we
Mm-hmm.
have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a cold and flu season in general, and we now have this COVID situation
Mm-hmm.
that's supposed to be a, respiratory condition, uh, illness. So we can definitely take advantage of astragalus, and then you can use it as a food too. And
Nice.
the second one is the Tulsi, holy basil. You
Oh, totally.
familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Tulsi. This is Ayurvedic herbs. It's a holy, sacred, spiritual herb in ancient India, and still now it is treated as a very spiritual herbs. And people were
Wait,
taking
for
it.
viewers, before we get too deep, you spell Tulsi, right? Tulsi. Yeah,
Tulsi.
because I think a lot of people have never heard of these words before, so I
Really?
want to make sure
Okay.
they're able to look it up, you know?
Oh, really? And the Whole Foods and all, and the health food shop definitely have this
Yeah, yeah,
traditional
I've seen
India package. That's a Tulsi
it's a
tea.
huge collection of Tulsi tea
Yeah,
now in all different flavors. I've actually
yeah.
haven't tried it, so I'm really curious.
You
Okay, I'm
should try
sorry to
it.
cut you off. Okay, go
You
on.
should try it.
Yeah,
This is by far, this is my favorite.
really?
And
Okay.
everybody would love it. That's just a flavor is it's just getting sweeter and sweeter if you infuse longer,
Oh my gosh.
especially when you use fresh
Sweet is,
material.
uh-huh.
And its fragrance is so bold and very feminine as well. It's just so pleasant flavor
Okay.
and aroma. So you should definitely. It's easy to
Uh-huh.
access, and everybody will enjoy the flavor. And so this one is people in India took this one for balancing chakra, maintain the good balance of the chakra.
Okay.
And modern time in a modern herbalism find out that this is great for stress reduction and a great source of antioxidant.
Okay.
And antioxidant is important for immunity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great. A lot of people suffer from stress, from this situation, what's been going on right now, right? And also we should build the immunity. So Tulsi is great, and it's so great herbs. It's tasty,
And
and then
I mean, is there a reason why there's so many different flavors available? You said it's already a sweet herb, right? But I'm seeing it
mhm.
combined with so many different things. It's almost
I
overwhelming. But
overwhelming.
do you like recommend just like regular Tulsi with no other
First,
added?
yes.
Yeah.
First, I want you to try just
Okay.
plain, just nothing else. But the herbs can work synergetically,
Right, right.
right? So you want to have this stress reduction aspects of it, and also you want to bring ginger. Let's say ginger could be something like warming your body and help digestion
Mm-hmm.
and all that. Can combine it together, then it can work more together well,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think that's why. But first, you should definitely try the plain one,
Okay.
and if you have access to fresh material, I would definitely encourage you.
So holy basil is the same one you see in like Thai grocery store, or am I thinking
You
of
see
something
it?
else?
I don't know.
I thought isn't it used in a Thai cuisine often in cooking?
Mm,
I need
maybe.
to look into this
Yeah.
because if that's the same herb and it's just called Tulsi, then I buy it all the time because I love cooking
Really?
Thai food. But
Okay.
I thought they were called they're called Thai basil, but I thought they were also holy basil, or
Or
maybe
you
they're
might
two
know
different
it's not the
things.
same. It's not the
Not the
same.
same.
And
Not
then
the
the
same.
Tulsi
But I
also
think
many different species, I
yeah.
think.
Okay.
Yeah. But one thing I'll say is this herb from around New York, Connecticut, New Jersey area. I think one is called Sawmill Herb Farm.
Okay.
Yeah, you can, if you are really interested and
Hmm.
then you want to be familiar with many medicinal herbs, they grow it
Oh,
and they do
cool.
the DSA thing. Like once a month, they deliver it to
Oh,
you.
wow.
Mm.
It's called
They
sawmill.
Sokill, maybe.
So kill.
Sorry, Sokill
Okay. Interesting.
Herb
I'll look it
Farm.
up.
Check it out. Yeah. And that's Tulsi. And then the last one, it's a mushroom. Like mushroom is great. Like mushroom has very special um, place in herbalism. That I will recommend everybody to have mushroom because
Love
it's
mushrooms.
such a great, such a supreme immune booster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so everybody can get the benefit from it. You can eat it, right? You can eat it, and also you can make broth, and also you can decoct. So
Mm-hmm.
you can try many different ways. And then from this whole mushroom list, I'm gonna introduce Leishi. Leishi
The
is
the
Japanese word.
power, the king.
Yeah. Chinese people say linzi or something like that.
Okay.
It's a very ancient mushroom too, medicinal mushroom. This one is called, has a nickname that's immortality, mushroom of immortality.
Mm-hmm.
So that nickname can already tell you how
Right.
knowledgeable that is, right?
Right.
And then in ancient TCM, reishi was used for many different things. Of course, it has such a healing property, so it's been used in the cancer protocol and all that. So it's great in a physical level, but they're also using for disturbed spirit condition.
Okay.
In the modern language, that means insomnia,
Insomnia.
anxiety, depression,
Mm-hmm.
all that mental challenging
Mm-hmm.
condition. Yeah, so reishi is very special for that. Now, of course, chaga is getting very popular too. Chaga is great, and turkey tail is great. Maitake, shiitake, all great. So just dose it up. Everyday life, especially this time in the world, everybody get some kind of immune depleted condition from stress, from
Right.
anything. So just dose it up and then enjoy it and bring it into your daily basis, and then that's gonna boost your immunity.
This might
And
be. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I just thought the building our immunity is the only certain way to
Right.
protect ourselves now. Yeah.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with that more.
Mm,
Just don't rely on drugs to help you when you need it. Like, you gotta be preventative, make yourself stronger.
yeah.
And I feel like most times you'll be all right. Your body's stronger than you think.
Yeah.
Um,
I
this might be
have
a.
this clients told me that they she had to sleep with sick sister, like flu or cold, something like that. But she had to share the bed with her sister, so she was dosing the up on reishi tincture, and she didn't get affected by it at all.
Wow.
And I recommend people to eat mushroom every
Mm-hmm.
day, like
Mm-hmm.
from before this cold and flu season,
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't get sick at all. So yeah, do it.
And I mean, I eat mushrooms every day. I love it,
Mm.
but I also know it's good for me. And also, I'm, half Japanese, so just the Japanese cuisine uses so much
Oh
mushroom
yeah,
too.
that's
So
true.
it's like it's on my plate every day.
Oh
But this might
cool.
be a stupid question, but is darker the mushroom better for you? Like, I'm thinking when I eat enoki, it's like, is it as nutritious as when I'm eating shiitake or like,
It could
obviously,
be, it could be like enoki, right? It's white, it's
yeah,
pale
yeah,
usually. So
yeah,
that's like cultivated in
right,
factory,
right.
basically. Yeah. But and my partner who is very experienced herbalist, but he's so specialized in mushroom as well. I remember he said like enoki in wildlife, that's darker.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be
More
more
nutrition,
medicinal.
more.
Yeah, more
It's pulling
nutritious.
something more.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
And then the shiitake, it depends on the stage, growing process. They change the color too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Interesting. Well, it
yeah.
makes sense, but yeah.
Yeah, they change the shape a bit. Usually they come like a little bottom mushroom, like very roundy. But as it goes older, it opens up.
Hmm.
So if you go to the supermarket and see the mushroom, I mean the shiitake mushroom, the the umbrella part is called in, could be younger, and opened up could be a little older. But I don't know much about the color, to be honest. But I
Is
wouldn't surprise if
is
there is
old?
any.
Is older mushroom better for you? Do you know that's you? I'm just like,
I don't
these
think
are
so.
stupid questions. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
don't think
just so curious.
everything we can say that, apply that on everything, but fresher one, I mean the young one could be tender and a little tastier and
Right, right.
than old. This is my wild guess, but I'll say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom uses I guess when it comes to reishi, the powdered form is the easiest well, like if you go to Whole Foods, like reishi also comes in every form. So
Yeah.
like for a person who's just starting out and say,
Mm.
I'm gonna want, reishi, I'm gonna start taking it every day. What do you recommend? Do you just pick one method? Is it tincture or powder, capsule, or cooking it? Like
Okay. Okay. Um,
if you had to get one.
okay. Because it takes longer time for preparation, I've been using tincture myself. It's called double extract because first you cook it long, decoct
Mm,
long hours and hours,
wow.
right? When you decoct, of course you want the tiny pieces.
Mm-hmm.
More surface is better to have that medicinal property goes out, right? So you want to pick the tiny pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You cook it longer, hours and hours, and after that, take this reishi and then soak it into alcohol.
Okay.
So the alcohol now extract a different healing material from
Oh,
reishi. So it's common to have double extraction
that's what it
method.
means. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of beauty of have both combined into one bottle.
Mm.
So
So
I
you would
use
recommend
that.
that?
Yeah, but traditionally it's been decocted for years and years. So
Okay.
that would be perfect as well. It's just taking longer. So
Right.
what I do is I just cook it in a big amount, like
Right.
big pothole or something, and in a store in a very you can freeze it or you can keep it in a
Oh,
refrigerator, and then every morning you pour it, warm it up, and then drink it. That's what
that's
I
a good
would
idea.
suggest for busy people like modern people.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it was astragalus. Did I say that right?
Astragalus.
Astragalus,
Yeah.
Tulsi, and reishi mushroom, or any mushrooms in general that you
Hmm.
recommend.
Hmm.
So, okay. Now, these are herbs that helps you, you know, kind of manage your stress level and, handle your mental wellness. I know you want to also have an input on the concept of resilience and
Hmm.
how, you obviously it can be connected with what you consume, but also on perhaps the spiritual level. I mean, I know that you talked about how you listened to this podcast about herbalists
Yeah.
mentioning
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
ideas of resilience coming from their ancestors.
Yeah.
Would you like to share us more
Yes,
about?
absolutely. So when you talked to me about this Instagram live
Mhm.
channel, I was like, okay, what's good to talk and what could be beneficial for a lot of people to know? And I ran into this episodes about resilience in a podcast show called Herbal Highway. And I would recommend everybody to listen to
Great
this episode.
podcast. I
Yeah.
recommend it. Yeah, I listened to it for
Hmm.
the first time.
Yeah, for those people who are sort of interested in herbalism, that's good source. And resilience, I thought this is just good to know for everybody, especially we live this time right now, and
Hmm.
then this is what we all need, be resilient, right?
Right.
And then resilience is a key to the well-beings. And what is resilience? It's an energy or force within us to overcome a difficult time, challenging situation, and come
Hmm.
back to where we are supposed to be originally. And when we live our life and we encounter many different challenging situations, like now sickness, now losing the job, financial restriction, and loss of somebody, any challenging time. And um, if we go through that, we definitely get impact on physical and mental level, right? And those circumstances, we need resilience to just keep our good spirit and get going,
Hmm.
you know? And what's memorable from listening to this episode was the most of all herbalists, in total about 10 herbalists talk about resilience, right? And what's that about? Yeah. So everybody pretty much pointed out that we need to be connected to our ancestors. Yeah. It was very interesting for me to hear and know those people in the West find this connecting to ancestors are so important for resilience, because for us Japanese people,
I was gonna say it's natural for us to
it's
worship our
very
ancestors.
natural.
Yeah.
We live in a culture where Shintoism is deeply rooted in everyday life, and connecting to the ancestors are one of the essences of Shintoism, and we call it ancestor worship in a Shinto term. But in Shintoism, God dwells in every natural occurrence, and God is in nature, and we live in nature. So the Shintoism basically telling us to be part of the nature and appreciate where you come from. That's
right.
What's all about, right? And on a physical level, we carry ancestors' blood, strength,
I
or
mean,
their
it's in
resilience.
the DNA, literally,
Yeah,
like,
in the
on a
DNA,
molecular level
blood.
too. I read
Yeah.
somewhere, I was just listening to, I was taking a class that was hosted by a neuroscientist, and what I learned, which was fascinating, was that people carry at least 7 generations of your ancestors through like in the molecular level. I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
saying this right, but it's like scientifically
it's getting
like
proven.
proven,
Yeah.
which helps, I think, convincing. I mean, it's obvious because we're carrying DNAs from both of our parents. My dad actually told me yesterday when I was talking about this that you carry it more from your mother's side than your father's side, which is really interesting. This kind of energetic, kind of spirit, like, I don't know, kind of the trauma that's trapped in, or any kind of resilience that they built is often passed down on mother's side. I don't know if it's true, but like,
So
isn't all
it's
of
in
that too?
general. It's in general. You can apply that to everybody from mother
Right.
side, or just that specifically you,
Oh
or
no,
what?
I think
What he meant
in general, like,
in
he comes
general.
from like scientific background, and he's like, this is how it gets passed down more
Oh,
likely, which was
yeah,
fascinating. But yeah,
it
just like
is.
in molecular level too, and then energetic level, like you're mentioning, I think
Yeah,
you don't think about it because it's part of you that you don't tap into, but
yeah,
you can, I
yeah.
guess.
We don't know them. Like we
Right.
don't know every single one of them,
Right.
but definitely because they existed, that's why we are here. It's just the
Obviously,
fact.
right? It's
Yeah,
like, it's a simple concept that we don't think about. It's like me, I was
yeah,
born and the world started when I was born, kind of
yeah,
idea.
yeah,
But we're only
yeah.
here
So
because of them.
I think that's epigenetics. That's what you call it. I don't know
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
how
yeah.
scientifically call it, but yeah, that's so true. And then we ancient people knows about it already.
Right.
That we carry this energetic pattern from ancestors, like what they've been going through. They've been going through wartime, persecution, difficult time, like poverty, anything. They feel a lot of things, and that can be passed on us. It's so natural, but finally science catch up on that. That's great news.
Right.
And as a consequence of their existence and resilience, we are here, and now we recognize that. Then we kind of like happen to have this gratitude to our ancestors for giving us this life. Yeah. And then once we are aware of that, we recognize how special we are, appreciate what we have, what we are, and all that. And that's very healthy mind state, I'll say. We all know
Absolutely.
that,
Yeah.
but we just need to be reminded about it.
Right.
And feeling of this gratitude can be ancestral healing. And then once the ancestor was healed energetically, that can be passed down to us, and our energetic health can be much resilient too. I hope
Right.
that makes sense for a lot of people. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I guess personally, how do you incorporate, resilience of your ancestors into your daily life, would you say?
Yeah, and especially like we eat every day, right? Naturally.
Yeah.
And for our ancestor, probably they're very big on fermentation.
Mm-hmm.
And then they love fermenting soy,
Mm-hmm.
Japanese plum. That has been powerful for us, you know. And as to herbalism, Japanese people use a lot of mugwort, yomogi, and
Oh yeah.
also
Mm-hmm.
hot unia, dokudami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very stinky one. But Japanese people have been using those herbs for many different discomfort or like very simple common cold to detox,
Mm-hmm.
many different things.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? Like kuzu, kakonto, kuzu. The root of kuzu plant, it's a very resilient plant, like
Mm.
invasive plant. So that shows like how strong this plant is. But it's Japanese people, ancient people has been using that for onset of cold, also chronic stiff shoulder and neck conditions for its blood circulate, promoting the blood circulating kind of action,
Mm-hmm.
help with that. And shiso leaves, Japanese
Right.
basil, yeah, that's a known Japanese culinary herbs. People, old time people were using that for digestive issues, but
Mm.
modern science found that that's blood cleanser as well. So I definitely use that. Unfortunately, like it's it's not accessible all the time around us, but I definitely appreciate those herbs in that time. Yeah.
And herbalism, just kind of going up back to how we use it, it's you can just simply eat it too. We often forget that, right? Like it has to be this whole new thing that you need to invest in and, buy
Mm-hmm.
this and buy that. But
Mm-hmm.
truly, I mean, is eating it basically the best way when it's just kind of direct consumption? Like, is it more effective, or is like when alcohol is used to pull things out? Is that better? Sorry, I'm like, I know we were
No,
talking about
no,
resilience, and I was just like,
no.
I have so many questions still.
It's so it's important that we need to know the practical aspects of herbalism, right? Because we want to use it, and what's the
Yeah.
best way to use it? Yeah, it's a very important question. So a lot of the time, herbs are not always flavorful. It's
Hmm.
not pleasant in a flavor.
Oh, that's
And
why. So there are other
yeah,
methods
so
to
it's
make it easier for
easier.
you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And those infusion and decoction, for some people who are not so familiar with taking tea every day, they may not like it in a way, but you get used to it.
Right,
I
right,
know
right.
you get used to it. So for that, tincture may be useful for a lot of people, but
Got
uh,
it.
eating is definitely great because it's fresh, right?
Right.
Yeah, fresh time. It's most powerful, like energetically. This is a
Hmm.
time like
That's
they
true.
have a lot of nutrition and a lot of aromatic. You know the aromatherapy, so the aromatic part of energetic part of the plants dissipate as it get older.
Okay.
So if you want to take advantage of this aromatic part of the plants, you want to use it when it's fresh, right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I guess when you have so many options of herbs to choose from and adaptogens, you might as well kind of tap into going back to resilience and ancestors. Might as well kind of look into what your ancestors were incorporating in their diet because you're obviously part of it and it might work better for you, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
simply even digestive system is different depending on the culture you come from.
Mm.
So that's a kind of almost a romantic way of connecting with your
Yeah.
ancestors, and it's
Yeah.
finding out what they used for healing and
Mm-hmm.
incorporating that. And it would make sense that it'll work really well, like
Yeah.
for you, because
Yeah. So yeah, that's something definitely new for people. Then why not just try, right?
Right,
See what happens. You may like it, you may not, but let's just try and see how you feel about it.
right. And
Yeah.
it's nice to look into kind of your culture, your background history. Often, sometimes just parents don't tell you enough stories about, or they don't know enough about your ancestors, and kind of just
Mm-hmm.
digging into it and process itself is so
Mm-hmm.
healing too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That, you come from somewhere and that
Yeah.
it almost kind of adds layers to your identity.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself, I think, is one um, great to build your resilience on. To say, I am here because of my ancestors who survived it, so why can't I survive this too? And
Yeah.
this kind of mentality. And
Mm-hmm.
also using the power of plants that they used to use, and, using that in your body too, and kind of basically being resilient the same way they were,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love that concept. I
Oh,
think it
great.
all
Yeah, I
ties in
hope.
together too, I think.
Yeah. Right. That's great. Yeah, I hope everybody find that this is interesting
Yeah,
and apply that to themselves. Yeah.
yeah,
Is there anyone has any question? And that would be great to ask right now, but I don't
yeah.
know.
We've had some viewers that stuck around. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, shoot us comments right away. We love
Yeah.
to answer any questions. Um,
Your product is around stress reduction and anxiety, right? And then I have few herbs actually that can be specialized in that area. I don't know if people want to hear.
oh, I'm sure they do. We have 9 minutes left, just
Oh, okay.
FYI.
Oh, great. Oh my God. I guess I don't know.
Otherwise, I wouldn't want to cut you off, but Instagram will cut you off. So,
I see. I don't know. Should we finish then? Like, I don't know. What should I do?
well,
It's
you
a
can actually. So this is going to be recorded. It's going to be put up on Instagram feed. It's also going to go on my blog and
uh-huh.
Vimeo. So you can send me a list, and I can post it on the Instagram post so that people can just see the list. And I will
Yeah.
also write about it in the blog too.
Good.
Yeah,
We
let's
can
do
do
that.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So
sounds
adaptogen
good.
and also that things was called Narvine.
Nervines, okay.
It's a category called Narvine. So
Right.
that's gonna be good for your mental health. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's catch
Well,
up later.
yeah, thank you so much for doing
Thank you.
this. It was so much fun. It was so
Yeah.
much. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. So should I just say bye bye and then I
Yeah,
cut it off? That's it?
yeah.
All right then. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.